So Weapons is doing really well in just its first week, earning 48 million at the domestic box office and 81 million worldwide. And it's not just the box office numbers that are being successful. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 94%. IMDb has it at 7.9 out of 10, and Metacritic it's sitting pretty at 81%. These are really good metrics for a horror film, but why is it being so successful? Weapons has a very interesting plot. In a small town, 17 children from the same third grade classroom run out of their homes and vanish into the night, leaving only their teacher and one student behind. The entire town is baffled, outraged, and suspicious as they try to resolve the mystery. Written and directed by Zach Kreger, it stars Julia Garner and Josh Brolin, both of whom are stars in their own right, but they aren't exactly bankable names in the big screen universe. And yet, audiences are gobbling this up. Why is that? What up, guys? I'm Pete, an actor and a filmmaker, and as you probably know by now, I love movies. Welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe if you're new, hit like so other people can find the video, and let me know what you thought of Weapons in the comments. So why is this movie such a hit? Number one, marketing. Months before Weapons was even released, they had a website up that started teasing you and giving you clues, not so much about the movie itself, but about the mystery in it. On top of that, the social media campaign for the movie seemed to strike much of the same tone. Not so much marketing the movie, but inviting viewers and audience members to come and help solve this mystery. It was a way of saying, don't come see this movie to be entertained, come see this movie to help us solve the mystery. And that kind of engagement and that kind of invitation to audiences got people's attention, and it ratcheted up excitement and got people really wanting to see this movie because they were mentally and emotionally engaged long before the movie came out. But still, I don't think the marketing campaign is really the main reason why this movie is such a hit. Number two, fresh, original storytelling. Yes, horror movies do have a cult following, and that's one of the reasons why indie producers will always try to do horror, because on low budget, you'll always get that cult following that will watch even bad horror. So good horror movies will always have a little bit of the following, but the success of this movie is so much further reaching than just the horror community. And I think it is because in a film landscape littered with sequels and remakes and known IP, audiences are hungry for something fresh, something original, something different, something that mystifies and intrigues you, something that you have not seen before. It's like audiences are tired of being asked to watch the same movies over and over again, or pulling at your nostalgia to go see a movie that's just a remake of something you already know, and they're saying, hey, titillate me. Give me something that grabs my attention, that is completely fresh and original, where I can start from scratch and decide whether or not I want to invest, and that is exactly what Weapons did. Number three, an invitation to connect. Weapons invites you into the horror. It puts you into the shoes of the people experiencing it, okay? Whether that's, the teacher, or, the cops that are solving the mystery, or the parents, or the principal, or maybe even the kids themselves. And it asks a question: faced with this mysterious set of circumstances, what would you do? And maybe more importantly, how would you feel? They do this cool thing in the movie where they retell parts of the story from different characters' points of view, almost asking, okay, now you're the teacher. How would you react in this situation? Now you're one of the parents. How would you be reacting? How would you feeling? And it doesn't judge you for your reaction. It basically wants your opinion. It's almost like a choose your own adventure type of movie, where you almost get to look at the POV of a certain character and go, what would I do in their shoes? And that keeps you engaged the entire time, because you get to hop around between different characters in the movie and see where they're coming from and see what and how you can relate to what they're doing, thinking, or feeling. This was one of the few movies of the year where I really felt drawn into the story the whole time. And I'll be honest, most of the movies that have come out this year just haven't done that for me. This movie had me the entire time, right? And most movies that came out this year just haven't done that, okay? Even if they were somewhat entertaining, or maybe they appealed to my nostalgia, or even my sense of adventure, but Weapons didn't do that. It grabbed my attention with the storyline, and with the way they told the story, they grabbed my emotions. People want to feel more than they want to be entertained, and that's what Weapons did so well. Number 4, it grounded the horror. Look, there are plot holes in this movie, okay? There were also some moments in the film where it didn't really feel so real or true to human nature, and it was not a perfect film by any means. But for a horror movie, it didn't rely endlessly on jump scares or suspense or even so much the supernatural. Instead, it set the premise early on and then it grounded the horror in the everyday lives of real individuals. That's what good storytelling does. It takes a set of ordinary human beings and puts them in extraordinary circumstances and lets the characters drive the plot and the narrative of the story forward. That's relatable. That's human. That's what we can empathize with. That is why we go to see movies. Weapons plays out more like a mystery than it does a horror, and they didn't pander to the horror audience, which is why I think it is being so successful in such a wide scale way. I should mention that early on in the movie, really the introduction of the movie, a voiceover tells you that this is a true story. But the director, Zach Kreger, said it is not a true story. It's not based on a true story. It's based on some of his own experiences with grief and losing people that were close to him, and it sort of helped him to process that. So it is not a true story, even though early on in the movie they do make it seem like it is. And maybe that's part of the appeal too, that if you don't know that it's not a true story, you're asking yourself, did this really happen? But no, it isn't a true story, and you should know that going into it. But regardless of whether it's true or not, it's a great film. I'm giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10 because while it's not a perfect movie, they really hit the nail on the head with this one. I think it's going to cross the 200 million range internationally. It is that good, and it is absolutely worth seeing in theaters, by the way. Don't wait to see it in streaming. If you want more original, fresh, interesting storytelling, you've got to put your money where your mouth is. You've got to go see these movies in the theaters. Otherwise, we're just going to end up with more sequels and remakes and superhero movies and live action. And not that there's anything inherently wrong with those, people enjoy them. But unless that's all you ever want to see produced again, you got to go support these kind of movies. And Weapons is one I will absolutely back to the hilt. That's it from me, guys. Let me know what you thought of Weapons in the comments and have a great rest of your week.